What's going on, guys? It's the World 1-1 crew, and we're here. Yeah, everybody's here.
We're all here.
We're all here. All right.
It's just the three of us.
Oh, just the three of us. But we get a lot of questions like, what's our favorite games? People come into the shop and always ask, what's our favorite games of all time? So we figured we'd just give a little video on our personal tastes, our personal choices of what our favorite games of all time are. And it doesn't necessarily mean that these are the best games or the most perfect games. Like a lot of times, you know, I like games for different reasons. It probably wasn't that good of a game, but for whatever reason it connected with me. So it's one of my personal favorites.
This is think of this as a very personal time with us. Granted, it's not about something very personal in our life, but it kind of is. You know, these games meant a lot to us, and there's reasons behind it. And if you stay tuned, you'll figure out why.
Yeah. So, AJ, why don't you start it off?
Let's see.
What's your just top three? Actually, it doesn't even have to be. It doesn't have to be ranked in order. Just give us your three
favorite
games.
one of my three favorite
games.
games. Two of them are going to be from the same series, but let me go with number three. I had to say number three. My favorite is it's for the Super Nintendo. It was Illusions of Gaia.
Ooh,
yeah,
great game.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite games. Is it an RPG?
Yes, it's an action RPG.
RPG.
Yeah, I consider it RPG.
It's I love the music of the game. I love the story, and it's one of the first games as a kid that I actually beat pretty well. Because I played RPGs around that age, I couldn't beat them at all. But Illusions of Gaia, I loved the story. I love the character development in that game, and it was just amazing. Number two, I would have to say is Sonic 2 for the Sega Genesis. That was
Sonic 2?
Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Genesis was. I grew up with the Nintendo, and then my older brother handed me down a Sega Genesis. And
you got the hand-me-down.
Once I played Sega, I was like, no, Mario, you lost. Sonic is it. I had Sonic 1, 2, 3, all of them, but Sonic 2 was just my favorite one. I loved every level. I loved playing it over and over again. I could actually beat that game. Granted, these are games I actually beat. There was a lot I didn't beat, but Sonic 2 was one of my favorite ones.
One of my favorite ones, too.
And let's see, for my top favorite game, and it's all pretty obvious, it's Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. I said they're both the same franchise, but Sonic 2, like I said, was my top favorite for back then, but granted, there's a lot of Sonic games now, but I feel like Sonic 2 was the peak of the Sonic generation.
I played Sonic Adventure 2, not Battle, but I played it on the Dreamcast.
Yes.
Did you do a lot of the Chow racing?
Yes. Oh, I did. I think a child, I remember his name was Champ. Champ was his name. He was the best. He was like a son to me. And then my memory got erased, and then I cried.
Oh.
I was a kid, so.
If you were to take all the time I've ever played of like Sega games and just all combined, it's been less than 15 minutes. I do not play Sonic games.
And
Sega hater, Nintendo family.
I don't hate Sega.
That 15 minutes was on Tony Hawk for the Dreamcast.
No. Sonic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you accumulate all my Sonic time, it's been less than 15 minutes. But I'm sure it's a great game.
Which means you spent 15 minutes testing out Sonic games at the shop.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah. To me, like all the rich kids growing up had Sega stuff.
I was far from rich, but I had a Sega Genesis. Well, granted, my older brother was rich.
You know what? Me growing up, now that I think about it too, it seemed like a lot of the kids that had a little bit more money, they seemed to have the Sega stuff.
And I don't know why I'm leaning in the mic when I talk, but I feel like,
Like
I'm being
a-
interviewed.
like a press conference?
Yeah, I'm at a press conference. This season we're really going to do well. No, but
I did not sleep with that woman. I wanted to, but I
you know what? I'll be straight up, and I don't want to get a color or anything like that. But growing up, all the white kids had Sega. All the Mexicans like me, we had Nintendo. So I stuck with my type, and I turned out to be. I turned out to be just well. Turned out to be just well.
Well, that's my top three. Thank you for that, Alex.
Yeah,
Well, Alex-
we white kid.
Since you're Hispanic, I guess you could say that about
Yeah,
it.
no, I mean, honestly, and any kid from my generation can agree. Like, if you had Sega, you're like, "Hey, you're kind of white. But if you're Mexican, you had Sega, then go for it. Cool, whatever. But my top three, right? Is it my turn?
Yes, your turn.
Okay, my turn. My top three, we're gonna start off with number 3, and it was for the NES, and that's Felix the Cat. It's a very I consider it still a hidden gem because a lot of people who come through the shop or people I talk to still don't know about the game or have just heard of it. And it's a very fun, platformer. Plays a lot like Mario 3 And I really liked it because as a kid I enjoyed Felix the Cat, and some odd years ago I had found out there was a video game of Felix the Cat. I was like, oh, holy crap, I have to get this game. And I was fortunate enough to get it at a really good price, and unfortunately with recent price hikes, it's kind of an expensive game now. It's a very colorful game. It's very fun. The music is very fun to listen to. You can just pop the soundtrack in and have a great time. Skip your way through work. It's a fun time. It's a great game. Number 2 would be what?
Let me pick it up. We have it for sale at the shop.
Oh, absolutely.
It's in the heat case.
Yeah. If you'd like to pick it up, by all means, come by. I'll hand it to you. We'll maybe we'll play the first couple levels together. Give you the feel. It's a great game.
The guy that cut my hair, his name was Felix.
Great guy. I'm sure he's a great guy. Look at the hair. My second all-time favorite game is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 for the Nintendo 64. Granted that the best port of that game is on the Sega Dreamcast, which these two guys love the Sega Dreamcast. On the Sega Dreamcast, it plays the full songs. The graphics are very good for the time, and the controls are very good, even on that awkward-ass controller.
I like that control.
That's pretty good.
See what I mean?
Okay.
I enjoyed Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 very, very much so, because as I played through it, I am fully convinced, and you know what? I'm going to go out and say it. I honestly think around in the 100-mile radius, I am the absolute best at that game. And if you think you can come at me with that game, then please do. We'll go outside of the shop and have a challenge. Straight up, we'll have a single session challenge. But I believe that game was very challenging to me because in later Tony Hawk games, there was a move called the Revert that was introduced to go ahead and bring your combos together to get a bigger point scheme. And here in Tony Hawk 2 was just the manual. So that was a very, very harder act to get your combos together. So to me, it's like a challenge, and I really worked my way to become where I am confident enough to say I'm the absolute best in a 100-mile radius. And finally,
real quick,
what's that?
Just to give a little background story, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you trade in like all your games to get Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2?
Oh no, okay. So funny story.
You traded in all your games to get it?
It was Pro Skater 3 at FuncoLand. I'm sure a lot of you watching now. I mean, if you remember FuncoLand, then awesome. If you don't, look it up. It was GameStop before GameStop, but it was fun because it had the word fun in it. So when Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 came out for the GameCube, I traded in my whole N64 collection, which included Mario 64, Mario Kart, all the wrestling games, Conker's Bad Fur Day, both Zeldas, just the hits for the N64, and I traded it all in for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3.
Was it worth it?
Absolutely. I love Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 is a great game, and that's the first one that the Revert was implemented, so you back to the combo thing. But do I regret it? No, not at all.
Okay.
Totally worth it. And number 1 being F-Zero for the Super Nintendo. Best soundtrack, best controls, best racing game ever. And it being a 1-player game and you can't play 2 players, if you want to get a Super Nintendo next to me, we'll sync up at the same exact time and I will put you to shame. And that's all I got to say.
Great music.
Great. Oh, amazing. Big Blues, my favorite.
I was going to say Big Blue.
Big Blues, my
Great,
favorite.
great song.
All right. Well, sweet. Those are pretty good choices. Let me get into my top 3. Now, mine are going to be a little bit different than these guys because mine are, if you guys know me, I like kind of more the obscure stuff, and that's what hits. I don't really, I mean, not that I dislike mainstream games. I like mainstream games, but I have more of a personal collection towards hidden gems and maybe games that slid under the radar type stuff. So the first game, or my third one anyways, it's going to be, I'm going to cheat a little bit and say it's a series. And I'm a big fan of role-playing games, and Phantasy Star on the Genesis and the original Phantasy Star on the Sega Master System, they don't get enough love. Really, really don't. I remember when I played the original Sega Master or the original Phantasy Star on the Sega Master System, blown away. And the Genesis games, like Phantasy Star 4, to me, it's up there with any of the Super Nintendo RPGs. It's that good. I think it might be a little bit better, but they don't get the recognition that they deserve, maybe because they were on the Sega Genesis instead of the Super Nintendo. So
I liked Phantasy Star Universe.
I'm not talking about like the online ones or nothing like that. I'm talking about the single player role playing games.
I know.
But yeah, understood.
This coming from the guy like 13.
Okay, number 2. Shenmue on the Sega Dreamcast. And way before the internet, well, not really before the internet, before the internet became really mainstream and everybody had it readily available, we used to get our video game news through magazines. So I used to read EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthly, GoPro, tips and tricks, all that type of stuff. That's where we got our gaming news. So every month, I would go to the local grocery store or the local bookstore and look for those new magazines. That way I could get my gaming fix or my gaming news fix.
I'm going to chime in really quick.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry to interrupt. Piggybacking off this magazine thing, you kids are so lucky you have the internet available even in the palm of your hands. Because I used to go to Walmart and go to the cheap books and write them down and put the book back.
I did too. Oh man.
But in those magazines, I was a big fan of Sega, and I was really hyped for the Dreamcast, and there was a lot of previews of Shenmue and everything, and the graphics, just the style of the game was so epic, and what they were promising was pretty epic too, just the proportion of the game at that time. It came out in 2000, I believe. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 2000. And the size of the game were all the non-playable characters, all the NPCs, they had daily routes that they took. They all spoke and everything like that. There was so much stuff that you could do. It even had, in the city, you could go to an arcade and just waste time playing Afterburner, in there and stuff like that. And the story was really good too. It's unfortunately, after Shenmue 2, we never got to finish the story. There's a Kickstarter for Shenmue 3, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, Shenmue on the Dreamcast, like I probably put in 200-300 hours into that game, just playing it over and over and over again. I love it. And my best game, or my favorite game of all time, is a game that you guys probably don't know about, because for whatever reason I don't talk about it much. But
Shining Force.
no, not Shining Force.
Diddy Kong Racing for the N64.
No.
Mule for the NES.
Oh no.
What is it?
When I grew up, people might know about the Panasonic 3DO and stuff like that. It came out in 1993, super expensive system. For whatever reason, my dad ended up getting me a 3DO, and one of the games that I ended up getting with the 3DO was a game called Star Control 2. And a lot of people don't know about Star Control 2, but it was a computer game that was ported over to the 3DO, and I believe it was more of an enhanced version of it. And the cool thing about this game was, I believe it was way before its time. It was like the Skyrim before Skyrim, with just the open world where literally you could go anywhere you want to go. Where you started out in your galaxy Earth, and then once you left that little universe or that galaxy, you're able to go to different galaxies and different planets. And it was huge. You literally had hundreds of different planets that you could go through. There was probably at least 20 different alien species that you could talk to. And you had options. This is like way before Mass Effect, like when you had options like to choose, and it would actually, whatever you chose actually affected the game later on in the story. So let's just say you met up with the alien race for the very first time. If you want to be diplomatic and try to, maybe align forces and everything and become allies, you can. Well, on certain ones you could anyways. And if not, for whatever reason, let's say if you pick a wrong one and you just say, screw the alien, let's fight, you would, you basically fought in space with two different spacecraft, and you guys just went at each other, and basically if you won the fight and everything, you destroyed their race.
That's crazy. Damn.
So it was really ahead of its time, and I think I might want to do a review on it one day. But yeah,
Sounds intricate.
yeah, I'm telling you, it's not actually, the graphics aren't much to look at, but the voice acting, the story is really
there's
good.
voice acting in it.
Yeah, on the 3DO version, there's voice acting, like probably at least 100 hours of voice acting. It's crazy. As I told you, it's way before its time, and I'll probably do a review on it. But
That's actually pretty cool.
yeah, so pretty good list, you guys. I mean,
I have an idea. Let's. I want to ask each other a question.
Sure.
Like of one of our games. So you said your second favorite was Shenmue.
Shenmue, yeah.
Do you think if they make a third, you think because they waited too long, they'll either blow it or they'll do another good job?
No, they have the Kickstarter right now for Shenmue 3, and I'm actually not looking forward to it. I was a big fan of the original Shenmue, Shenmue 2, Shenmue 3.
You think it's like beating a dead horse?
No, it's I think they have the right intentions, but history has shown with Kickstarter games, they never live up. You have Mighty Number 9,
Oh, God.
even recently Ukulele and everything like that. It just never turns out because they don't have the money to back it up and enough resources to actually back it up. And I don't think that they're going to have the resources to make Shenmue what it needs to be. And I think it's going to be slightly a disappointment. I hope I'm wrong, though.
Strong words from a strong man.
King Kong.
King Kong.
Oh man. A question for you or?
Sure, yeah. You literally just said I have a question for you three.
Yeah.
No, I
for
said
us
we could
three.
ask each other a question. But okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'll ask you.
Okay.
Do you think they'll ever bring back a good skating game?
No.
Why not?
I think that the mechanics have changed completely with the introduction of the skate games, the ones that are just called Skate. Skate 1, 2, and 3 have absolutely revolutionized the mechanics of video game skateboarding. I was glad to see that Tony Hawk 5 still utilized the classic type of mechanics it used with X or whatever button of platform you're playing to be ollie, and these two to be, or the bumpers to be, rotate or switch and whatnot. I like that because it's tending to the audience like me, or trying to reintroduce the series into a younger generation. But when a younger generation has the accessibility to the games like Skate, there's no point of bringing the Tony Hawk playing type back. Like, I'm sorry, but it's dead.
Yeah.
It's the introduction of something brand new that works 100 times better. It's like Tesla cars. It's, that's the wave of the future now. This is the way of playing skateboarding games in general, and with you trying to implement something classic, I'm sorry. And especially when it's executed horribly, like Robo or whatever the company that made Tony Hawk 5, I'm sorry, but you ruined it.
Ooh. Sad.
Sad words from a sad man.
All right, AJ, I got a question for you. Now that I just thought about this right away. So you're the Sonic fan, right?
Yes.
Well, we got a little picture going around that we keep on sending back and forth in our chat.
Are we really gonna post that picture in
We
here?
got to, man.
Right here.
Okay, just so you know, this was in high school.
Okay.
I was a big Sonic fan. And they also knew me as the Halo guy, which I'll post that picture because that's funny.
Post this on. Well, anyways, AJ's a huge Sonic fan, as you just said. Two of his top favorite games are Sonic games. And actually, I'm a huge Sonic fan, too.
Yes.
But I think we could agree recently Sonic probably had more misses than hits recently.
Yeah.
So we have Sonic Mania coming up soon.
And also Sonic Forces.
Okay. What do you think? Do you think, from what you've seen, those have a chance to be a hit instead of a miss?
I feel like Sonic Mania is going to be a big hit, and I'm kind of glad they delayed it, because usually with Sonic games, they don't delay it, they release it too.
They rush it.
They rush it, and the fact that they delayed it, I was like, yes, that means they're taking care of this baby right here.
Taking it seriously.
And plus, like the companies that are working with this, I'm pretty sure like the music is just it sounds fan made. Like that's what I love hearing, is because like that's the kind of stuff like they love Sonic games. The levels look amazing, the graphics are good, and for Sonic Forces, it looks like a Sonic Generations 2, which Sonic Generations 2 was actually a good game. Well, Sonic Generations 1 was a good game. So hopefully they keep this going. From what I heard, it's like an alternate reality, like an Eggman one, so they have to come back together again. But Sonic Generations was a great game, and I really hope this one keeps the same format.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Hopeful words from a hopeful man.
All right, you guys. That's it. Now, you may not... Actually, I'm going to pretty much... Not almost guarantee it, but I'm a betting man, so I'm going to bet that our favorite games are probably not your favorite games. Which is okay. And that's okay. But why don't you guys let us know what your top 3 favorite games are in the comments, and we would like to know. Thank you so much for watching, and catch you next time.
Thank you, guys.